What happened to General Motors V8s? For decades, it felt like General Motors built some of the most respected V8s on the planet, millions of miles. But for a growing number of owners, buying a new GM truck or SUV feels a lot like rolling the dice at this point or playing roulette, because the stories keep coming in. Massive, catastrophic engine failures, Tahoes, Suburbans, Yukons, Silverados, and everything in between. Now, most of these are 6.2 liter crankshaft failures still, and they are flowing in much higher than what I expected. I expected this problem to trail off. It has not. Take, for instance, this owner going in for engine number 3. That's all he says. Not uncommon to see multiple engine replacements in these vehicles. And luckily, we're starting to see people catch on to this. In the comments there, you're going in for number 3 and you expect a different result? That's how I feel about this. You should not expect a different result if you're getting a replacement GM engine. Someone there posts one of the old GMs, 362,000 miles. Yes, it's all original. Or take, for instance, poor Darren here. He said, I just talked about it and the motor went out. He's got a Denali Ultimate. Listen to this engine. Sounds absolutely terrible. This is so common nowadays. I can't believe that these are just flowing in. I can't believe General Motors hasn't done something about it. And even more importantly, I cannot believe that they are putting multiple replacement engines in vehicles that have the same problem. The quality control is just insane. And yet another Denali Ultimate on May 24th. Check out how many engines this guy's had.
Picked it up from the dealership on Friday. It is Sunday today, the day before Memorial Day. They put the 4th engine in it last week. The 4th engine in it, so the last one to blow up 2 weeks ago. They replaced it with the 4th. 19,732 miles on it.
So 19,000 miles, that is absolutely wild.
Yeah, what the heck?
This problem is getting completely out of control. The one thing I would ask this person is, why do you keep going back? Get a lawyer, get a buyback, and move on to another brand. But I still feel bad for these people because when they go in, if it has a dead engine, the trade value is going to be terrible. So these dealerships, they sort of have these people by the cojones, because what are you going to do if you can't take your vehicle to another dealership and another brand to trade? It makes it really hard just to deal with the situation. So you almost have to go through legal and a buyback, and it takes months, and then every state has different lemon laws. Really a sad deal for these people, and these manufacturers need to be held accountable. They don't all have this bad track record. It really is just specific engines in specific brands. This gentleman gets it. Ken says, thanks to everyone who shared their experiences. He moved on from the Tahoe. This is really what people need to start doing. You have to vote with your wallet. He got an all-new 2026 Nissan Armada Pro 4X, and he's wishing everybody all the best. I will tell you that I would take bets on this Nissan engine lasting a lot longer than the GM 6.2. Nissan has traditionally not had crankshaft bearing problems, rod bearing problems. And then it leads to people like this. They post polls to try to determine, hey, maybe there's a trend. Maybe there's a reason why people are having so many failures. I don't think there's a trend other than bad manufacturing. So most people say not much idle time, easy cruising. The first comment there, they say they're on their 3rd engine replacement and his wife is on her 2nd engine replacement. She idles a lot. He doesn't idle much at all. She drives fast. He never exceeds the speed limit. So it doesn't matter how you drive. These engines are probably going to blow up if they're going to blow up. If they're out of spec, the crankshaft or whatever the problem is, they're probably gonna blow. And the worst part is you get these owners like this who are caught in the middle and they just have a lot of copium and hopium going on. So Mike here says he's got a Yukon Denali Ultimate. It's been 7 weeks since a rod bearing failure at 19,000 miles. He was told the new long block should be installed on Wednesday, and he says that he's hoping they've got all the problems figured out. Man, they don't have the problems figured out. These new engines are failing just like the one that you had. And gosh, you see a lot of Cadillac Escalades with the 6.2 in this group. Here's another one.
Reproduce this sound.
If you you gotten everything out of the vehicle? This is just commonplace anymore. So that Escalade specifically, it's a 2024, says Sport Platinum, 15,000 mile engine failure. And then it says a 2025 Platinum Sport 2,000 mile engine failure. So I don't know if they've had 2 of them now that have failed. Why do people keep going back to the poisoned well? Why? You have to jump brands. This is getting crazy. And there's something else that General Motors is doing. So when you get these engine sounds, they will tell you it's normal until it fails. So they're not like going to proactively replace your engine. This guy took it in. It's a 2026 GMC Sierra. This is what it sounds like. So to me, that's just a telltale sign this engine is going to have bottom end problems. You can hear it coming. This is how it starts. And then we have Dave Rodriguez here. At least he figured it out. He said, ours has been sitting on the used car lot for months now. Motor blew at 28,000. Basically put 200 miles on the new motor, getting it to the lot to sell. So he got the new motor installed and then dumped it. So that is an option for you guys. When you get that new crate engine installed, don't wait for it to blow. Just get rid of it. He says he felt horrible because he pushed to get the 6.2 liter instead of the 5.3. I'm guessing maybe this is his wife's car or something. He feels bad because he put her in that position. Who knows? And this one came in on May 27th. All of these are just within the last couple weeks, by the way. They're not old. This is a 2023 GMC Yukon Denali, 55,000 miles, had the engine replaced. It took 2 months, had it for a week, and the check engine light came on. So essentially what happens here, some of these people get their engine replaced and then they continue to have problems. Someone didn't hook something up right, P0442 evap system solenoid, and then you end up with problems down the road. It's just not worth it. It's like major surgery for these vehicles, and some of them are getting it 2, 3, 4 times. It's crazy. And here's another multiple engine person. Second engine just blew. As you can see, 30,330 miles. I'll show you the dash here in a second. What a way to end my vacation. Did everything per the recall, and it still left me stranded on the interstate. The first comment there is correct. Nothing will help it if it's poorly machined. It's just a matter of when. And this includes the 2026s. I don't know what GM is going to do with their new engines in 2027. The new engines that are replacing the 5.3 and the 6.2, we have to hope that they're going to bring some more stuff in-house. They're going to have more quality control. But right now, the trends are pointing in the opposite direction, that things are actually getting worse, not better. And here is a close-up of Becky's dash at 33,000 miles. Second engine failure. And I found an interesting poll. I think people are starting to catch on. I think you as the viewer, anybody who has friends, just keep pushing this narrative that, hey, why don't you move on from General Motors? Ken says, curious what direction people are going after, when they have a problem and they get their engine replaced. So after your engine died, what did you do after the engine replacement? If you left GM, what did you get? So 46% of people said dump GM and go to another manufacturer. The problem is with a poll, anyone could vote. So if I clicked that, it doesn't mean that I dumped them. It just means I want people to. Many people say trade it in for a different GM truck, the 5.3. 10% of people. By the way, the 5.3 still has lifter problems. It still does later in life. You can't trust that either. A lot of people went to Ford, 13%, 11% went to Toyota, which is another crapshoot and roulette game. It's just less problematic than the GM 6.2. Only 6% went to Ram. What do you got to join the Ram Club? And I think you guys will be super interested in this. He said anybody experiencing issues with their second engine. So he got his back 3 days ago, has a check engine light now. He had it scanned for a cylinder 4 misfire. A valve spring is broken and he's got an exhaust issue. But it's interesting to see what the tech states in the details here. Tear down the engine for inspection, found all the connecting rods seized on the crankshaft. So that was the old engine. They transferred parts from the old engine to the new engine, removed and replaced oil cooler lines. There's a nice little note there. Perform crankshaft variation relearn. It seems odd that they have a crankshaft variation relearn process. Now, maybe that's normal. I hope everyone stays away from General Motors 6.2 liter engines. You don't want to be caught in one of these situations. And there are actually more. I just don't want to bore you. This video is already over 10 minutes of failures. I could probably go 20 or 30 minutes just showing you the last 2 weeks of posted failures. Last one here, 2025 Chevy Tahoe High Country with 10,000 miles. Drove it off the lot with 16 miles on it less than 7 months later. It crapped out and died, rattled like hell. They said the bearings went out and determined it was catastrophic engine failure, just like the rest of them. Look, it's never going to stop. GM doesn't seem to have a remedy. The 25s and the 26s are failing. New crate engines are failing. I don't know what else to say. Buyer beware. Thanks for watching. Till next time.